everybody, my name is Becky. I am Becky B Crafty here on YouTube and over on Instagram, and welcome to Flosstube number 9. This is my cosy little nook on the internet where I talk about all my crafting projects and show off my progress and my stash and things. So, hello everybody, it's been a while. I'm just looking down at my book here. Got all my notes and everything in. It has been 9 weeks since my last video, and if you watch my last video you will know that I had said it might be a while because, hold on, I've just made a note of this. 9 weeks ago on Monday, this Monday coming, I had carpal tunnel decompression surgery on my right hand, so I knew my stitching and crafting was going to be impacted. But I didn't realise it was going to be impacted quite that much. I had a bit of a time with my recovery, which might as well talk about and go into now. So, as I say, and if you'll know if you watched some of my previous videos, I was having carpal tunnel symptoms in my right hand. So I used to be a big knitter and crocheter, but I was getting numbness and pain and tingling in my fingers and things. Which stopped me from knitting and crocheting for quite a while, about over a year, pretty much. Went to the doctors, got referred to the hospital, had all the tests and everything, MRI and everything done, and they were like, yeah, we can see that it's the carpal tunnel's compressed, it's squashing down on your median nerve, which is what it's called. Like, so yeah, we'll put you forward for surgery. I was going to have it done on, I think it was 2nd of March, something like that, but then they rang me on the Thursday and said that they'd had a cancellation on Monday morning, the following Monday morning, which was the 9th of February, I think it was. So let me have a look, I've got it was 9th of February. So I went in, had it done on the 9th of February. It was a very long wait. We had to be there for 11:30 in the morning for afternoon surgery. I was last. Out of all the men and all the women that were there, I was last. I didn't actually go into surgery until, what time was it? I think it was 5:30. So yeah, I'd been there for a long time, waiting, sitting around waiting, reading my book, chatting to the other women in the waiting room and things. But yeah, once I got in, I was literally in and out of the surgery in about 15 minutes. And it all went really well. I'll pop a picture in here of me with my big sympathy bandage on, and you can see the lovely big purple arrow that they drew on my arm as well, just to make sure that they got the right hand, even though I was awake, so I wouldn't have let them operate on the wrong hand. But yeah, that was my big sympathy bandage that I had to have on for 3 days. After 3 days I could take that on, and then I just had like a little white adhesive dressing over my stitches and things that I had to keep on for 2 weeks. It didn't stay on for 2 weeks. It was itching and it was starting to peel up. So just after a week, I took it off just to change the dressing and just to have a little check on it underneath. So it was about 9 days, I think it was, something like that, 8 days. It was just over a week after. If you are squeamish, I am going to put a picture up of my hand a week after operation when it's still got stitches and things in. So if you don't want to see that, look away now. But here is the picture of just over a week after surgery when I'd got my stitches in. Please don't worry about the big purple marks on it. As you can probably tell, that was pen, where they drew to show where they were going to do the stitches, I would imagine, because those big blue purple pen lines were in line with my stitches. But for just a week after, it was looking really good. I was really pleased with it. Then I was changing my dressings regularly, and they said that after 2 weeks you could take off the white dressing, because hopefully the dissolvable stitches should have come out by then and you could have it uncovered. So again, I'm going to pop another picture up. It's not a gnarly picture or a gross picture or anything, but it is where the stitches have come out, and you can still see a few marks and things on my hand. So if you don't want to look away now. And here is that picture. So this was just under 2 weeks after surgery. I decided to take the dressing off and have a look how it was. Whoops, and I've just dropped my notebook and my phone on the floor. So as I was saying, this was just under 2 weeks after surgery. I was due to go back to work on the Monday. So I wanted to take my dressing off and make sure that my stitches were okay and make sure that it was all right before I went back to work. and I was going to give it a little bit of a gentle bathe because I'd had to keep it dry until then. I was going to give it a little bit of a gentle bathe to try and see if I could move the stitches. But when I took the dressing off, the stitches were actually coming out anyway. There were a couple of little bits left in that I had to give a little tug on and pull them out, but nothing too bad. So, as I say, now I am 9 weeks post-op on Monday. Everything was going really, really well until 3 weeks. When I was 3 weeks post-op, I was woken up in the night by the pain in my hand. Obviously, I knew I was still going to be getting some pain in it because everything was still healing on the inside and what have you. But it was really, really bad. It was a lot worse than it had been. It was waking me up during the night. It was keeping me awake. And then I got up the next morning and around my scar and the palm of my hand, it was really red and swollen. And it wasn't right. You know, people at work had a look at it and my husband had a look at it and he was like, no, that's not right. So I went to the doctors. They said, yeah, it's an infection. Got some antibiotics, took them for a week. And after that, everything was brilliant until 5 weeks. So I had a week or so of it being brilliant, almost back to normal. And then it started again with the swelling and being quite red around my scar and things like that. And I wasn't concerned that it was scar tissue that I could feel. It definitely was swelling because it was sort of to both sides of where my scar was and it had not been there before. So went back to the doctors, got another course of antibiotics because they thought it was an infection again. But by this point, I was getting a bit concerned. So I was trying to get back in touch with orthopaedics to go back and see my surgeon to check everything was okay. It took me a few days to get hold of them. When I did actually get hold of them, they couldn't get me in to see my actual surgeon until the Tuesday. I think this was on the Thursday. Which they made an appointment for me to see my actual surgeon on the Tuesday, but I wanted to see someone before that. So they booked me into clinic at the hospital at orthopaedics the following afternoon, the Friday afternoon. My appointment was at 4:30. I think it was about 6:45 by the time we walked out of the hospital, something like that. So yeah, that was a bit of a long one. They wanted to do a blood test at that appointment just to check that there was no evidence in my bloods of infection, which there wasn't, which was really good. And that's one of the main reasons why that appointment took so long. We were at the hospital for so long because they wanted me to wait for the blood test results to come back, just in case there was infection in it and they needed to do anything drastic. There wasn't any signs of infection, but what the consultant who I saw thought might be that I was having a reaction to the internal stitches breaking down in my body because they take longer than the external stitches. But I went away, thought, oh, yeah, okay, fair enough. I don't need to keep taking the antibiotics, the penicillin, because there was no sign of infection or anything. So they said I could stop taking the antibiotics. So went back and saw my actual surgeon on the Tuesday, and this is where the plot thickened even further. He didn't seem to think that it was me having a reaction to the internal stitches. But what he did say was that it's very, very rare, but, excuse me, some people have an extra muscle in their hand. I had the extra muscle in my hand, so I'm very, very rare apparently. So rather than just having one muscle cut during my surgery and then stitched back together in my hand, I had 2 muscles in my hand cut and stitched back together. So what he was certain about was that the extra pain and swelling and things I was getting around my scar was just the fact that I had 2 muscles cut in my hand that were now being used again and having to get back to being used when they'd been stitched back together, basically. So yeah, he was really happy with the way my scar had healed, really happy that there wasn't any signs of infection, really happy that I'd got no carpal tunnel symptoms left or anything like that. That's been completely healed, which is fantastic. I've been able to do some knitting and crocheting, which is brilliant. But yeah, it's, I mean, I've still got a little bit of swelling now. You probably won't be able to see. So it's not going to focus very well, but this little line down here, that's my scar. And you might just be able to tell that I've got a little bit of swelling still on this side here. And I sometimes get a bit round here on that side. And as I say, all he said that it is, you can see it a bit better there. So there's my scar, and you can see I've still got a little bit of swelling here. And my surgeon was quite happy that all it was, or all it is that it's just going to take my muscles in my hand a little bit longer to recover and get back used to being used as normal. But even since then, and that was only what, just under 3 weeks ago, something like that, when I went to see him, and it's so much better already. I'm pretty much able to use it back to normal again, basically. Only things I can't do is I can't press down. You know, sometimes when you sat on the floor or something and you go to sit up and you put your palm of your hand down to lever yourself up, I can't do that because that's still a little bit sore and a bit tender. But yeah, other than that, everything's doing really, really well. So it did affect my stitching. I did manage to get some done, and I have done some, obviously, in the interim. I just haven't been able to film for a long time, basically. It's not all been because of my hand healing and things. It's some of it's just been time constraints and things like that. So I didn't say at the beginning, it is Friday the 10th of April. It's nearly the end of the Easter holidays here in England, boo, which means back to work and back to school on Monday. I work in a local primary school. So I'm back to work on Monday, so I'm going to enjoy my last few days off. I've got all the housework and washing and everything done. So I'm going to enjoy the last few days off, getting some stitching and things done. So I've got new glasses as well. They look black on here, but they're not. If I do that, you can kind of tell that they're a bit purpley. So yes, I am now the proud owner of Varifocals. Wasn't sure I was going to get on with them because my husband had told me horror stories about them, that he couldn't get on with them and everything was moving around and they made him feel sick. But I've absolutely loved them. Absolutely love them. Don't even notice that I'm wearing different grades of lens now, to be completely honest. I've really well adjusted to them. So yeah, other than that, that's all the lifey type stuff, I think. So we'll get on to some actual stitching and things. I was going to show my knitting because I've been doing a bit of knitting and I've been knitting a sock, but I forgot to bring it down. So if I remember towards the end, I'll pause you and I'll run upstairs and get it and show you. But if not, I'll show you in the next video. Not a problem. So I know this is really, really bad, but I've got a bit of skin on my finger and it's annoying me. So that's what I'm looking down at, trying to get rid of it. So stitching. Normally I start my Flosstubes by talking about Flosstubers who I've watched. It's been 9 weeks. There are too many to mention, far too many to mention. So all the usuals that I watch, or other people that I have found and been watching recently, they will all be tagged in the description box down below. Lots of people been doing finish parades and whip parades and things like that, maybe a bit late to the party for the new year, but still been doing them. So yeah, I have been watching a lot of Flosstube. I've also been catching up and watching The Walking Dead while I've been laid up. So I watched it when it was first shown, and I think I got up to about series 8 and then just stopped watching it. Just didn't watch the last couple of series. So over the last few months I've been catching back up, and I think I'm about 5 or 6 episodes into series 7 now, so not much left to go. But then I need to decide what I'm going to watch after that. So, right, stop rambling. Let's get into some stitching. So, I have 3 FFOs, 2 new starts, and a whip. So I have managed to get a little bit done. So let's have a look at the FFOs. So these are 2 Mill Hill kits that I did, which when did I start this one? Is that the one that I did? I started this one at the last Floss Friends retreat. So this is Honey by Mill Hill. And it's a lovely little bee with a blue background. I have to angle it a little bit for the light to get it right. And you can't really see the beads and stuff, but hopefully it'll pick out nicely. But I finished that about a week or so after I'd had my op, because I thought a Mill Hill kit, something like that, that's quite big count, like perforated paper and stuff, I thought that'd be quite good. You know, no fractionals or anything like that. I left the beading and the back stitch until I was a bit more able. And then I added a little hanger with some of the leftover beads. Whoops, and I've just dropped it. And then I backed it with some self-adhesive felt, and I fully finished that off a couple of days ago. So that's my first FFO, that's Honey by Mill Hill. And then I did another Mill Hill, and you'll see a theme here. This is Bee Gnome by Mill Hill. You can't hear it, but it has got a little bell on his little hat, and it does do a little jingle. And then he's got little beads, little bees. So he's got a bee here, and then there's a little bee down here. He's so cute. But yeah, that is Bee Gnome. And again, he's been finished with a little hanger and some self-adhesive felt on the back. I just love him. He's so cute. He's so cute. And they have both been living on my little twig tree with lights on that sits in our window in the living room. And this had been sitting in the living room window, but I've moved it because the cat keeps knocking it over. I don't think he's going to make an appearance today. All the Hamilton lovers out there, he's laid upstairs on our bed fast asleep. So yeah, I don't think you're going to be seeing him today. But this is, I'm just checking my notes, sorry. This was Cotton and Twine subscription box from April 2023. And it was designed in-house by the Historical Sample Company. And I actually picked this kit up on the D-stash table at a Floss Friends retreat. So I've done this week. It only took me a few days. It's bugging me because I don't think it's perfectly central. It's just slightly off, I think, in the hoop. And I had this beautiful sort of like pale green plastic hoop that was in a load of stuff that one of my friends gave me, that one of her friends had given her out of her attic. But yeah, it's a beautiful sort of bee and butterfly and flower mandala. And I just wanted something nice and bright and summery with lots of colour in it, and just something quite easy and repetitive. So yeah, that's that. And then it's backed with another piece of self-adhesive felt on the back. So they are my 3 FFOs for this last, I'll not say this last month, it's the last 2 months, isn't it? Right. Whips. Let's pull this big pile over. So, first thing I've worked on is I've done a little bit of work on the Sugar Glider by Cottage Garden Samplings, their Year in the Woods 2 collection. So cute. I love these designs. They're so adorable. And I've got the next couple new ones to show off in my my stash as well. And if I can find one from one of my previous videos, I'll pop a picture in here of what it looked like before, because I have got no idea how much progress I've made. I don't think the tail was finished last time, but this time we have a tail. So as I say, I cannot remember where I was up to last time I showed this, but I'm pretty sure the tail down here wasn't finished, and I managed to get the tail finished off. And I think I started going up here with a bit more of the branch as well. But yeah, I love this little void here where I've not stitched it. It's for his little claws. It's so cute. It's just so you can tell what's coming there. Lovely llama needle minder by Laura at Cotton and Clay. So there is my progress on the Sugar Glider. Right, new start. I had a new start. And you might remember seeing this round about just after Christmas, I think. So I bought this round about Christmas time. And this is Hearts Over Kings by Letistitch. And I mean, I know they can't say it because it's not officially licensed, but it's a House of the Dragon cross stitch. Anyone that watches House of the Dragon Damon and Rhaenyra, 100%. But it's not officially licensed, so they can't say that it's a House of the Dragon cross stitch. But it is. And I absolutely love this. Love stitching on it. Love the kit. Love the threads. Love everything about it. I've been a little bit obsessed with this. So, just let me put that behind to make it a bit better. Here is my progress. I love it. It's just so gorgeous. It's full coverage and it's quite big. Let me have a look. It's on 16 count Ada using the kit threads, and it is 29 by 43 centimetres on that 16 count Ada, and it's full coverage, so it is going to be quite a big one. Another Laura at Cotton and Clay Needle Minder there from her advent calendar last year. But it's not loads of confetti. It's like, there are like strips of colour, so you can carry on with like a whole thread in one colour to get a strip done and then move on to the next strip of colour, and oh, it's so gorgeous. And I mean, you can tell how big it's going to be because that bit that I've done is just like this little bit up here. Make sure I'm pointing to the right bit. So yeah, so the bit I've done so far is just this little top corner bit. So it's going to be a big one, but it's absolutely gorgeous. So far, because it's one of the, I believe, the newer Letistitch kits, it's got a QR code inside on the pattern, well, on the thread list, which you scan and it takes you to the digital version of the pattern on the Letistitch store. Underneath that QR code, there is then a code. So you add the digital pattern to your basket on Letistitch. Then when you go to checkout and it says to insert voucher code, the code that is printed underneath your QR code on your pattern, you put that into the voucher code and it makes it free. It takes all the money off, basically. Discounts it so it's free, so that you get the PDF version for free. Only thing I've found with that is that because obviously it's using, just let me check so I'm not saying this wrong. Yeah, it's Luca S. It uses Luca S threads. And I had a quick look, but I don't think Luca S threads are in Pattern Keeper. So I couldn't obviously insert the colours, but that doesn't matter because I don't mind stitching from a black and white chart anyway. So it just means that when you fill it in on Pattern Keeper, it just doesn't show it up with the right colours and things, but it's still fine. You can still use it in Pattern Keeper absolutely perfectly well. So I have done 2,826 stitches of 73,314, which makes that 3.85%. So yeah, still a ways to go, but I've been absolutely loving it. Love Letistitch kits. It's the first one I've ever had, and I'm so impressed with it. It's got the, as I say, it's got the Luca S threads in it. I don't think I've had any tangles with the threads whatsoever. It's just gorgeous. It's a gorgeous kit. It's a gorgeous design, gorgeous threads, and it's just really pleasing to stitch. It's one of them where I've sat down like, oh, just maybe put a couple of threads in, and then like a couple of hours later I'm still going because it's just so moreish. I just need to keep going on it. So next whip, well, new start actually, and this was a new start only a couple of days ago after I finished the Cotton and Twine April 2023 box. I wanted something else a bit different and a bit sunny and summery, so I started this beautiful Poppy Butterfly by Sweet Annet. My husband bought me the kit for Christmas, and it's actually stitched on wood. So here is what I have got so far. So this is the first wing, and this is half of the wing, or half of the butterfly for the first wing, the other half separate, and then you just slot both bits together to make it into the butterfly. It even comes with pre-cut felt in the shape of the wing for you to stick on the back to protect the stitching afterwards. So yeah, that is what I have done so far. And again, this is just a really quick, as I say, I think I've only been working on this for the past few days. and not like all day every day either. So yeah, I'm really, really enjoying this as well. And again, I was really, really pleased. I didn't realise when I first looked through this kit when he first bought it me that there is a QR code to go for the PDF version. So I've been able to put it in Pattern Keeper. So far I have done 711 stitches. I've not written down how many stitches there are altogether. I think there's only about 2,500, something like that, and that's both wings. So yeah, I've done 711 already over the last few days. So when that is finished, that will be made up and that will be going on my little display in the window as well. So that is by Sweet Annet and she is on Etsy. So what time? Oh, 25 minutes. It's not going too bad, this actually. Right, purchases. This might take a bit more of a while because you see what happens when you lay it up and you can't do any stitching or anything is you spend online, don't you? Yeah, so I've been trying not to spend too much though. So we'll just, this isn't in order of how I've bought them, it's just the order of the pile that I've got them in. First thing I got was Cotton and Twine, March 2026. I get the full gift box. So it is the lovely spring bunnies, designed by Crochet Go Go. So I get the full gift box. I pay for it myself, but I've taken everything out already. The chocolate bar, was it a chocolate bar this time? No, it wasn't. It was a little bunny hanger, and I've already put that up on my little tree in the window with my little bee stitches as well. So hopefully I might start that at some point soon. I've done the autumn one of these by Crochet Go Go, which was the two foxes. I made that up into a little cushion and that's up there, just further away from my plant. And I have got the winter one, which was the two owls, but I didn't stitch that during December. So that'll probably be a December this year project. But the spring one, I can't wait to see what the summer one is. And the Cotton and Twine design for this month, for April, with the butterflies and things on, is absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait to get that one. Can't wait for that one. But yeah, that's one thing that I got this month. Next, I have got the next two patterns in Cottage Garden Samplings, Year in the Woods Part 2. So we had the red panda. My daughter loves red pandas. She went to feed red pandas at Yorkshire Wildlife Park a few years ago. I think it was for her 9th birthday, something like that. It was an amazing experience. So yeah, he is so cute. And then earlier on this week, I got the next one, which was the skunk. And I love him. I just think he's so cute. Sorry, I've got hair in my mouth. I know skunks aren't historically cute animals, but I just think he's really cute and I love the little pink flowers at the bottom. So they are the next two to add to my collection, which I will hopefully get around to stitching one day. I plan on stitching all of them, but my pre-orders from Nashville Needlework Market came in. I pre-ordered from Peaks Eye Needleworks. Peaks Eye Needleworks, Peaks Eye Needlecraft, Peaks Eye Needleworks. My brain's gone. And I do need to say thank you to someone for this because I wasn't aware of these and I've not heard of samplers and primitives before, but Kenny from Kenny Stitches actually messaged me on Instagram and showed me these to see if I'd seen them, said he thought of me straight away when he saw them. So I immediately had to find them and pre-order them. So thanks for that, Kenny. So they are Queen Bee from Samplers and Primitives. She's just gorgeous with the flowers inside her body and her wings and on the outside as well. It's so cute. And then the other one that went with that was Bee and Blossoms. It's just so cute. And I wasn't planning on starting either of these at any point soon, but I have actually got the threads and the fabric for Bee and Blossoms, because it just seems to be calling to me. And I think Kenny's got this one as well. And I did sort of tentatively suggest that we might do a stitch along, but I don't know if he's got enough going on at the minute as it is. I know he says he's just started something else, another bee pattern. I can't remember exactly what it was. But yeah, so I've got the fabric and the threads in there as well. Not all the called for threads, because there was a Threadworks one that I couldn't get hold of. So I went for, I think it was a Classic Colourworks that was very, very similar. Because it has Classic Colourworks, Weeks and DMC in it. And then there was one Threadworks variegated one. I think it was called Peach Sherbet. But I think I went for a Classic Colourworks kind of variegated peachy colour instead. So I might have to start that soon. And I know it says in the pattern to do it on something like a platinum Ada or a vintage type one. But I've got this 36 count silver grey Edinburgh linen from Flora Shell, which I think I got in Laura from Cotton and Clay's advent calendar last year. Light's not brilliant in here today, and I don't know why, because it is really sunny. But I thought it'd look really nice on this grey, so I'm going to do it on grey. Right, while I was ordering things, you've seen this before. This is Hands On Designs Buzz Block Party. And I've shown this before because I got it from Floss Friends Retreat from, I think it was from Rachel at Talking Dog Stitchery. End of January, beginning of February, Floss Friends Retreat. And I really wanted to do this as well. So we have got the threads. And I know it's done on a black, but again, I thought it would be quite nice on like a grey. So this is 28 count Cashel Pearl Grey / Dove Grey. And that's from Peakside as well. So yeah, not sure when I'm going to get around to actually starting all these things, but hey ho. They're there for when I want them, aren't they? And then the last two things. When I first started cross stitching again, just over a year ago, I saw these two kits, but they were quite old ones and I couldn't seem to find them anywhere. Not for a price that I was willing to pay. But I know a lot of people have mentioned Vinted for like older cross stitch kits and things like that. And I managed to get them on Vinted. I sent a bit of a cheeky lowball offer as well, and that offer was accepted. So they are two old Janlin kits. And they are Boy King and Queen Nefertiti. And they're just gorgeous. They're full kits, as far as I can tell. They've not been opened, so they've still got the fabric and all the threads, metallics and everything in them. But yeah, I think they say about, yeah, they say £21 each basically on them. I can't remember what they were originally on for on Vinted, but I put an offer in of like £20 for the pair and it was accepted. So yeah, they were kind of like my most wanted kits that I was trying to find. So yeah, I have them to do at some point as well. So I think that's all the stitchy news. I mean, plans, I've got plans written down in here, but I've got nothing under plans. I'm going with the flow at the minute because I've had to take so long out with recovery from my hand and things like that. Excuse me, I'm just going to have a little drink. I've got some chocolate milk. Yazoo chocolate milk. Oh, yum. Gorgeous. Right, Whip Go. I was doing Whip Go. I knew Whip Go was going to take a bit of a hit when I had my hand done. I've not caught back up with it. And I think I've decided now that I'm going to abandon Whip Go for this year. It just wasn't... I'm not saying it's not right for me. It's just that I fell so far behind with everything. And then when I could stitch again after having my hand done, I was finding that I wasn't wanting to stitch my Whip Go calls and things like that. Same as this month, my Whip Go calls, I've just not called to stitch for them. And I know that Whip Go is supposed to be to get me to stitch on them because they're not calling to me. But I think it's just because I've spent that much time out not being able to stitch with my hand, and then the infections and not being able to stitch again and things like that. At the minute, I'm just like, I just want to stitch on what I want when I want to, basically. So that's why I've had a few new starts. I'm planning another couple of new starts. I might even start Bee and Blossoms at some point over the weekend before I go back to work. I don't know. Who knows? So yeah, I think I'm abandoning Whip Go. I did it for 2 months. I managed to do it for 2 months, which I'm quite pleased with. And it did get me excited about some of my projects and things again, which I am going to pick up and try and get done. But I think the thing is, a lot of my Whip Go numbers were really, really big, massive pieces. And while sometimes I love working on big, massive pieces, like the Hearts and Kings, sometimes I really don't, and I just want something small, like the Cotton and Twine subscription box that I've done over the last few days, like the little poppy butterfly that's not going to take me long to do. I like that gratification. I need to be in the mood for working on a big, massive project. And sometimes I'm just not in that mood. So yeah, I've officially abandoned Whip Go. I am still going to try and get round to some of those whips and make some progress on them and maybe even finish some of them. But yeah, I'm carefree and I'm just enjoying stitching on whatever I want to stitch on, basically. It's not as if I have a million whips. I think I've got about 16, 17, something like that. So it's not even that many. So yeah, I'm just going to stitch on what I want to and not worry about it. There is no stitching police. Whip Go's your own rules anyway, so that's what I'm saying. So, one of the only other things I've got to talk about really is books. Because while I was laid up with my hand, I majorly got back into reading. So I'm just looking on my phone. I've started using an app called Bookmori. It's a free one that I found, and you can log all your books in it. And then you can log how many pages you've read in each reading session or in each day. And it does you a little calendar and things like that. And I've actually read for 62 days in a row. Well, I've read for 63 days in a row. I just haven't logged today's yet, actually. So I've actually read for 63 days in a row. And on my book calendar, it's like in March, let's show it, I read every single day in March. I used to be a really, really big reader. And then obviously like crafting and things like that took over. But yeah, while I was laid up with my hand, I've really massively got back into reading again, and I've been trying to keep back up with it. So that's what I was looking for, my book calendar, to see which books I read first. So I'm going to go through what books I've read and do some little recommendations. So first one I read, and I read a lot of this one while I was in the hospital waiting around to have my operation done, was Heavenfield by L.J. Ross. This is one of the DCI Ryan series of books, and they are all set in Northumberland. This is book 3. I've got book 4, I've just not read it yet. I think there's about 20 odd, something like that altogether. There's loads of them. But yeah, they're all set in Northumberland or Newcastle, around that area. And the first one is called Holy Island, and I actually picked it up from one of the gift shops on Holy Island when we visited a couple of years ago. And it's really, really good. I really enjoyed it. So I've, as I say, read another couple. So first one was Heavenfield. So if you enjoy a bit of a crime, murder mystery, and there's like a cult and things like that in it as well, I would definitely recommend these books. They're really, really good. So that was the first one I read. Then I read, where is that one? Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldry. So this is kind of like a fantasy type, but it's, I suppose some people might call it a romantasy, but the romance isn't a massive part of it. But yeah, it's about I've read 2 of his books in the last few months, so I'm trying to remember which one's which. So, Bookshops and Bone Dust. The first book is Legends and Lattes, which I read earlier this year, later last year, and it's about an orc called Viv, who is retiring from being a mercenary and wants to open a coffee shop. And it's all about the friends that she meets in the new town, the new city that she moves to open the coffee shop, and the trials and tribulations of opening that coffee shop and keeping it safe and things like that. So Bookshops and Bone Dust is actually not necessarily a prequel, but it's earlier on in Viv's life, when she was kind of just starting out a bit as a mercenary, and she was laid up in a sleepy little seaside town due to an injury, and she made friends with the local bookseller called Fern. and it's about their adventures in sort of refurbing Fern's bookshop and reigniting her love of selling books while Viv recuperates, but then also sort of like trying to track down the necromancer that Viv was originally tracking with her band of mercenaries when she got injured at the beginning. So yeah, I loved Bookshops and Bone Dust. I liked Legends and Lattes, but I really, really loved Bookshops and Bone Dust. I thought this one was just so much better. I loved the characters, was really invested in them. I actually cried. I actually cried at a couple of points in this book. That's how good it was. So that was that one. Next was Richard Osman, The Thursday Murder Club. Late to the party with these again. I'm late to the party for everything, me. But yeah, if you're in England, if you watch House of Games on BBC or Pointless, you'll probably know who Richard Osman is. And yeah, pretty good. I quite liked it. I tried to read it last year or the year before, and I couldn't really get into it. So tried it again this year, and just flew through it. Really, really enjoyed it. Thursday Murder Club are a group of old age pensioners basically who live in like a sheltered housing accommodation, and they basically solve murders and crimes and things. It's pretty much all there is to it. I've got the second one. Can't remember what it's called right now, but I have got the second one. I've just not got around to reading it yet. Man Who Died Twice. Pretty sure the second one's called The Man Who Died Twice. Yeah. But yeah, again, if you like a murder mystery, that sort of things. Lots of twists and turns in it as well. Lots of things that I didn't expect. So yeah, that was a really good one. Then, again, late to the party with this, but this is a series that I'm sure lots of people will have heard of. It is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. Oh my gosh, I am obsessed with this series. So much so that I finished the second one yesterday and I immediately started the third one. Absolutely love them. Really, really loved the first one, A Court of Thorns and Roses. It's about a human girl who, unbeknownst to her, kills what she thinks is a wolf in the forest near her house, trying to provide food for her poor family. Turns out that he was actually a fairy, and because she killed him, she gets taken away to live in Prythian, which is the fairy lands, which are above the mortal lands. And it's all about her, we'll call it imprisonment, but it doesn't turn into an imprisonment. She ends up falling in love with the High Lord, who takes her to Prythian and keeps her there. But then lots of other things happen and she ends up having to rescue him and all sorts happens. It's so good, so good. It definitely is the romantasy genre. There are quite a few spicy bits in it. Quite good. Not as many spicy bits as in the second one. Woo! But yeah, so that's A Court of Thorns and Roses. Again, I think there's about 5 of these, and is it 6 or 7 that's coming out? There's either 5 or 6, and it's 6 or 7 that's coming out at some point in the future. But yeah, I've just started the third one because normally I try not to read in series of books. I try not to read them all in one go. I try to read something else in between to give me a bit of a break. Couldn't do that with these. After I'd read the second one and finished it yesterday, I ordered it from Amazon the day before, and it came yesterday. And pretty much as soon as I'd finished the second one and the third one arrived, I had to start it straight away just to find out what was going to happen. So yeah. And then after A Court of Thorns and Roses, I read another Travis Baldry book. This one is Brigands and Bread Knives. So this is set in between... no, it's not. It's set after Legends and Lattes. So the way they've been released is Legends and Lattes, Bookshops and Bone Dust, Bread Knives and Brigands. But in the time order of them, it's Bookshops and Bone Dust, Legends and Lattes, Brigands and Bread Knives. And this is all about Fern, the ratkin that Viv met sort of 20 years previously in the Bookshops and Bone Dust book, selling her bookshop where she first met Viv, and coming to where Viv has set up her coffee shop. to open a new bookshop in Thun. I think it's called Thun. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Sort of next door to Viv. But then she realises that it's not what she wants and she made a mistake, and she ends up travelling with a mercenary elf, basically. And it's just amazing. It's fantastic. Again, this book made me cry. So yeah, Legends and Lattes didn't quite get there, but Bookshops and Bone Dust and then Brigands and Bread Knives both made me cry. And I think there is another Travis Baldry book out later this year, but I think it's sort of more a collection of short stories from this universe, which I will definitely be getting hold of that one as well. So just the artwork in the front, oh, it's so good. It's so good. I won't tell you who those characters are. I'll let you read it for yourself. And then, bear with, I've left my other one over here. Oh, the last one I've read, which I just finished yesterday, was Court of Mist and Fury. So that's the second in the Court of Thorn and Roses books. Quite a chunky one as well. And again, it did not take me long to read this. I started it on the 20th of March and finished it yesterday on the 9th. So yeah. Oh, I can't tell you anything about it because then it'll ruin the first one if you've not read the first one, but it's so good. So good. I enjoyed the first one. I enjoyed this one a lot more, which is why I went straight on to A Court of Wings and Ruin, which is the third book. And I only got it yesterday and I've read the first 26 pages already. I read a little bit last night, but I was quite tired last night. And I read a little bit over dinner time today. So yeah, it's another quite chunky one. But yeah, if you enjoyed A Court of Thorn and Roses, you will love A Court of Mist and Fury. This is the one that's got me hooked. I definitely wanted to read this and see how I found the rest of the series after reading the first book. Excuse me. Now I am absolutely hooked after this one. Absolutely. This one is a lot spicier than the first one, I will say as well, I think. Not as much spice in it, but the detail of the spice is more there, let's just say. So yeah, love them. And I am really enjoying doing lots of reading again. So maybe not the next time I see you, but maybe in a couple of videos' time, I might have finished this monster. And I might have started number 4, depending on how this one goes. So, how many pages is in this one? Oh, it's really dangerous doing this because I don't want to actually accidentally see anything. No, that's the thank yous. Oh, I'm not going to read anything. 699 pages in this one. So yeah, I've got a ways to go. Definitely got a ways to go, but I am absolutely hooked on this series. So I think that's everything. We're at about 48 minutes, which isn't too bad actually. I thought it was going to be a really long one. So I'm hoping that I'm going to be back a little bit more regularly now. In future videos, I might be showing off my stitching as usual, but then I might show a bit of knitting and crocheting things as well now that I can do that again. I've started knitting a pair of socks. I used to love sock knitting. I was always a DPN, double pointed needles girl, but I thought I would have a try at a very small circular needle. Oh my gosh, it's revolutionised my sock knitting. I managed to knit nearly a full sock in a week. And it's quite a complex pattern as well. But yeah, I've had a bit of a break for a few days because I've been doing a lot more stitching and things. And the knitting has been good physio for the hand, but it does hurt a little bit. I can't do much of it all in one go because it does pull my muscles in my hand a little bit. So as I say, on one hand, pardon the pun, it's been quite good physio for getting my muscles working, but on the other hand, I don't want to overdo it too much. So yeah, hopefully I will be back. Oh, actually, bear with. Nope, that's the wrong month. What are we on? 10th. Oh, so yeah, might be back in 2 weeks' time then, because next weekend, can't believe it's next weekend already, is the Floss Friends Retreat in Rotherham, run by Sammy of Little Loops and Big Barn Stitching Co., which I'm really looking forward to. So I will get to see all my Stitch friends there, which I'm really excited about. And I will also get to pick up Halfway Happy, my finish, which has been framed by Lisa at Atelier Framing. So I will be able to show that off officially on my next video as well, and any purchases and things I make. So yeah, I'll probably be back in about 2 weeks' time, hopefully. It definitely won't be as long as it was last time. Definitely not. So now I've got to go away and try and remember how to edit all this and make it look something worthy of actually putting out there for people to watch. And I've got to hope that people are still around to watch it and that I've not lost all my subscribers. I don't think I have. I think I'm up to about 140 subscribers, which is amazing. So thank you so much. I'd love to get up to about 150, something like that. That would be amazing. But until then, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being patient and waiting for me while I've been away healing from my surgery. It's not going to be as long next time. I'm going to start trying to film every couple of weeks and keep on top of all my progress and my starts that are probably coming up and my purchases and things like that. So thank you for watching. If you're a subscriber, thank you very much. If you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing. Thank you for liking and commenting. I do try and reply to all of the comments, even if it's just a love heart or a thank you. I do read them all and try and reply to them all. So thank you very much. Thank you to everyone that sent me well wishes and inquired as to how I was after my surgery. It really meant a lot to me. It gave me a nice warm fuzzy feeling inside to know that there were people out there that were thinking of me. So thank you so much. And until next time, thank you, and I will see you all again soon. Bye guys.